Nope.
I am recording now. So, let's get this thing kicked off. So it's a little few minutes after 10. I just want to ask everybody, is there any good news, things you want to bring up? Some successes you had in the past week?
Ooh, pick me, pick me.
Rob found a buyer for his troublesome buyers.
Got a found the house I think of their dreams right now. So
Nice.
pretty excited about that. Yes.
Well, what's this? Seventh one's a charm?
17th or 27th. I'm not exactly sure which. I kind of lost count, but
At least you didn't go over 30. That's when you start having to be like, all right, we have to sit down and talk about things.
that's true. That is true. I will say I've toured some very nice properties here lately.
That's always a fun upside.
It is. It is.
Hey
Oh,
guys,
hey, sorry, how's it going? Yeah, I was
good. How are you?
good. I was shopping for this couple that were looking for $2 million Scottsdale places, and I had no idea half the stuff they were talking to me about, like lines and various things. And I was just showing them around. I'm like, I just like looking at these houses with you guys. This is great. So crazy 2 million penthouses in Scottsdale. I'm just like, wow. And people are worried about small little things like the carpet has a tear right at the entryway. I'm like, really, really? It's a $2 million house with like these big, huge, thick mahogany tabletop or countertops. That's what it was. Crazy. But anyways, any other good news somebody want to share? All right, let's get into the market news. So, market's doing its crazy thing still. We still have active listings kind of ticking up slowly, still not anywhere near where we should be, even compared to last year, much less 2 years ago, but it's slowly improving as compared to, last month or the rest of this previous year. Actives are still going up, pendings are kind of coming down. Our sales volume is actually going down, which is even less than last year, which is surprising. It's not really reflecting in our prices yet, which we'll kind of go over why that's happening. But our actives are actually thankfully going up. Days inventory, we actually have more than 3 weeks now, which is amazing. I don't even know what that's like. So instead of getting, 20 or 30 offers on your listing immediately, you'll mainly get five. So our active listing prices are coming down a little bit. There is some price adjustments going on. It's season. That's that time of year. That's kind of what happens if you want to get the thing sold. And the biggest thing to point out is his listing success rate has actually dropped to 88%, which we haven't seen this in a long time. So it's below 90, which we'll go over in a bit also. But the other key point is median house prices still around 402,000. The Crawford Market Index, as we were talking about, it is slowly tapering down. The only one that's not really tapering the last few weeks has been Scottsdale, of all areas. They're doing amazing. Everybody else is just kind of dripping down. If we look at the demand index, just the demand side, not the supply of the market index, our demand is kind of level. So the biggest factors right now is if supply is increasing, demand is level, why are our prices keep going up? Well, people can't find houses, obviously, but also if you look at our active counts, well, sorry, we'll go into that a little bit later. Didn't want to leave you on the cliffhanger there, but I want to talk about the data when we come across the data. So the active listings, we kind of see this wave happening here. March was our big low point because obviously seasonally, spring is our hot season. That's when everything goes. Now we're back up here again, almost to the point we were September of last year in our actives, which is good. We're getting closer to a healthy market. Of course, if they're way up here, where we were back in March of 2020, that'd be great because that'd be more healthy. Year percentage of listings in our contract are dropping. They're slowly ticking up slowly. A little more inventory so people are able to find their houses that they want to, but we're still well below where it should be. Oh, now everything's going to reset. Oh, good. Our listing success rate for things under 2 million, this is what I was talking about before, is the first time we've been below 90% all year. Even actually since a year ago, February was the last time we were at this point. So that was right before we had the big dip when everything went into lockdown. So if you blinked your eyes and the pandemic never happened, we'd be pretty much where we were right before this all started, at least for listing success rate. Our monthly average sales price is actually starting to dip down, which is good. We kind of have coming over to the tail end of that hockey stick. Question is, what happens when holidays hit the end of the year? Are things going to keep ticking down, or are they going to have a little upswing? It all really depends on financial pressures on the market. Just to see how crazy things are by zip code from our Maria map. We haven't done this one in a while. Our contract ratios, meaning we have way more under contract than we do have even active listings. This is the crazy reds and crazy grays, which is the insanities, where you have 2 to 3 times as many. Only areas that are actually cold right now is this dead area out here off northeast Scottsdale, where there's not very many homes, and then right around the airport, because there's not a whole lot of residentials around there. Only got 8. Next one is cumulative median days on market. So whereas we talked about before, it's slowly ticking up, nowhere near where we should be. Well, hopefully one of these days we'll get back to 30 days on market, and up to 60 would be amazing, because that's where we should be. We haven't seen those days since 2015. Notice the trustee sales haven't shown this in a while because actually nothing's really changed with it in the last few years, decade. We're supposed to see these tick up, but of course it just started ending with the forbearance, so those people are doing workouts right now. We will see some tick ups of pre-foreclosures, but probably nothing going up to the market, at least for another 90 to 60 days. We'll have a lot of hedge funds coming in and getting them, and then people at the trustee sales swooping in and getting them. Another one I want to point out was that price cuts are actually peaking these last few weeks. This is good. This is more normal for our season. Price cuts usually were dipped down last year. Over the last year, almost nobody was doing price cuts. They were all doing price increases. So we're getting a little bit more towards a normal-ish hot market, if there is such a thing. This all resetted. So in summary, everything about for Maricopa County, our numbers are good. Our active listings are ticking up, so we at least have more stuff to look at. It's holding kind of steady around 5,400 that are not under contract for the metro area. So hopefully in our Q3 will be a little more normal Q3, like in 2019 or 2018. We'll see some decrease over Q4, and then hopefully things will pick up after middle of Q1. The biggest problem is right now our price per square foot is still increasing. It's not really reflecting what's happening in the rest of the market, and we're starting to run into affordability issues. People might be able to afford the houses that they want to buy. This is kind of interesting. This is kind of a market, Cromford market summary of what's been going on with it, changing since the last month. Only a few cities are ticking upwards, having an increase: Cave Creek, Fountain Hills, and that north area of Scottsdale. Everybody else is just kind of tapering down, whereas the season continues. Oh, the other one I was going to point out was kind of funny is Open Door, OfferPad. All the iBuyers have just taken off. They are picking up stuff left and right. They say one of their biggest buyers are actually small hedge funds and investors, which I find kind of odd. 25% or 20% of the properties they pick up are actually going to them. So after OfferPad and Open Door buy the home for above asking price, then they sell them off to another investor for their buy to rent, which is odd. But this is basically the market summary. Nice infographic. Our sales are definitely, prices are going up, our under contracts are dropping, and our actives actually still are low for what we should be seasonally. But our month supply is kind of tapering off, and hopefully will be increasing here shortly. That's kind of the market in a nutshell from national news. NAR, I think it's NAR? Yep. NAR puts out this Realtors Confidence Index survey. Interestingly enough, the Realtor Buyer Traffic Index, everybody's super high. Arizona, they don't see a super high right now, so we're tapering while all these other more remote states and cold states are crazy buyer traffic. Being tail end of summer, that might be the reason why. Seller traffic, unfortunately, doesn't reflect the same as buyer traffic. We're still lacking in sellers all nationwide. Median days on market are crazy low. And then, of course, you can see a traffic difference between sellers and then 45 and 71 of buyers. We have way more buyers than we do sellers, so kind of have a little imbalanced market. Oh, yeah. Buyer tours or broker tours we talked about last week. Some people were interested in these. There's various ones around the valley, just depending on which geographic location you're looking at. A couple of the big ones, like this Camelback Arcadia, it's kind of like the Biltmore, some of Scottsdale, Arcadia, where they kind of cover. If you have a listing in there, you can automatically get on their tour. If you don't have a listing, you're just kind of new to the area, this is an area you want to farm, you can just ask them, they'll probably let you come along. The good thing is there's Phoenix One. It's kind of, their website's kind of dead. Couldn't get half of it to even work. I don't even know if they're still around. But there's those people you can contact if you're interested in that area. They're really good because if you have a listing in these areas or any areas, and of course, Southeast Valley, we have a lot of agents working on that area. We got lots of them out there. They have these various ones for Ahwatukee, Chandler, Gilbert, you name it, Gilbert Luxury, et cetera. Mesa, Queen Creek, Santan. You get a hold of these people, sign up for those tours. Like I said, if you have a listing, you can automatically get in. It's pretty easy. If you don't, you just let them know, hey, I'm an agent working in this area. I don't have a listing yet, but I'm working on it, and they'll probably let you come on. What happens is they come out on the tour, you meet somewhere with a tour coordinator. Usually they get a bus, and everybody kind of drives a car out there and then carpools in that bus. Or sometimes everybody will drive separately. Unfortunately, if they have 8 or 10 cars, that kind of blocks up the whole street. You kind of stop at each listing. Everybody kind of does a tour, walks through it, gives kind of their feedback, which is great if you have the listing. And also you can ask questions like, what happened? How'd you get the listing? Who's the seller? How are things going with traffic, et cetera, like that. And kind of get tips from all your other people in the same area. It's a great way to get feedback on your listing, also to give your listing exposure. Sometimes those people have buyers looking in those areas as well. That's just my 2 cents on the tour. Any questions on the market or that? Okay. All right. Next part, let's go under our tip of the week. Riches are in the niches. I think Rob had a good saying about this. What's the difference between a niche and a niche?
I don't remember what was it.
Oh, I think he said it was something about 100,000 or a million in
Yes,
net
$100,000.
worth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, however you want to pronounce it, niche or niche, whatever it works, it's still the same word. But basically, how to set yourself apart in real estate market and grow your marketing and grow your business. The best way to do that is to specialize or choose a niche that kind of talks to you, something that would work for you in your area. The reasons to do it, of course, according to all the statistics, are the more you're specialized, the more business you're going to do. That kind of reflects back on how many sides or how much transaction deals people are doing on average. Also, the number of realtors is increasing very quickly. Arizona just went from like 50,000 to 60,000 in 1 year, which is kind of insane. I guess over the pandemic, everybody said, whoa, I got some time. Let's go get my license. Just in Florida alone, since last 20 years, they've tripled their number of realtors from 67,000 to 180,000. I mean, we only have 60,000 in the whole state. Could you imagine having 180,000 competitors? There's a lot of people out there, and basically one way to differentiate yourself, a lot of people pick up specialization, especially even with residential. Majority of them hit that. Even within their specialties can have to try and grow out your business and get more attention and brand yourself. Of course, referrals and repeat business. Once you become that person of, hey, I do luxury things in Gilbert, or I do historic homes downtown. If you start becoming that person, more business starts coming your way because they know, hey, I know a guy who does this kind of type of houses you're looking for. Let's see, types of niches. Kind of there's some broad categories of where they branch them out. You can do it based on types of housing. Some people love doing high rises or condos. Some people really dig ranches, horse properties, big, huge properties like got land, lake houses. I thought was kind of an interesting specialty, especially in Arizona. But there is several lake housing divisions. Types of real estate: commercial, land, residential. We have property management as well in here by just listing out a few for just each one to kind of give examples. You can specialize and you can sub-specialize and you can sub-specialize, which we'll get into later. Types of housing, architecture. There's lots of people out there that want to buy certain types of houses. Mid-century moderns, big, especially in the Arcadia area. Haver houses, if you've never heard of Ralph Haver, if you found anybody that really loves those houses, they'll tell you all about them. Geospecific, a lot of people want to specialize in like, hey, I'm the go-to person in North Scottsdale so-and-so subdivision. You can drill down as far or as deep as you want. Just in the city of Scottsdale alone, Scottsdale's like 3 different sections, and inside those they got subdivisions. Inside those subdivisions they have other divisions. It gets crazy. Like entertainment district and inside Old Scottsdale, inside South Scottsdale. Types of buyers and sellers. There's actually types of, what I want to say, categories: families, young families, 1, 2 kids, maybe multi-generational. Also, people are going through distress situations, divorcees, divorced housewives. I even knew an agent that specialized in divorced housewives who had dogs in the marriage, how to get through all those issues. So, especially skills, relationships, seniors, retirees, military, those kind of things. And then social, didn't quite have quite enough room to put those out there, but there's stuff like PTAs, hobbies, different religions, fitness, you name it. If you got a hobby or something that you like to do, you can probably find a real estate niche to go wrap around it. Finding your niche, this is probably where people mostly struggle, is like, where do I start? Where do I figure it out? There's a lot of interesting ways to do it. There's, dozens of ways to dig down into it. My favorite 2 or 3 are kind of pinpoint your passion. If you're something you're passionate about and you have a lot of interest in, you're going to dig into it anyway. And you're going to start putting stuff on social media about it. You'll have more content you'll have to be able to provide to people. And then people also pick up on it as well in your marketing, in your content. Some people just love just zeroing on a specific geographic area. I know there's one area in Prescott that they mountain home range, whatever it is. One agent basically has zeroed right in on that one, and they're that go-to person. Everybody talks to them, and everybody in the neighborhood knows that's the agent to talk to. There's some previous success or knowledge that you've had. Maybe you've literally liked working with certain clients or senior. Maybe you have background in military. Something that gives you kind of an in that you kind of already understand what those people in that niche are looking for. Definitely help you get there faster. If not, there's always education and certification. That's a great way to show that, hey, I'm already an expert in this area. Sub-niching. So I talked about this before. Probably when you're first starting out, trying to identify a niche, definitely recommend going down at least 3 levels. What that means is, since you have 60,000 other agents you're competing with, probably a few hundred of them have probably figured out your niche as well. So say if you want to focus on Arcadia, I know there's hundreds of agents, maybe even thousands, that specialize in Arcadia. But how to differentiate yourself from them even further, digging down another level. Hey, maybe I want to specialize on mid-century moderns. Really cool, interesting houses, definitely in good price range, and there's a lot of people like them. Haver houses. Ralph Haver have built a bunch of those back in 50s, 60s, 40s even maybe. Several different neighborhoods all over the valley, but the ones in Arcadia are really the awesome ones. There's those big, huge glass fronts. If you've ever seen them, lots of glass, a little bit of metal. Further, you can even go even further. If 3 levels isn't enough, you find you've got 10 other people competing with you on that. Say you want to specialize in Arcadia Haver houses, or fixer-uppers, or help them fix or remodel them. Identifying underserved niches in an area. This is another good way to build your business quickly. If there's something where in the neighborhood that everybody's looking for, like say second home retirement houses out in, let's say, Tonopah or something. Not a lot of people want to go, are probably advertising to that group. It's probably very underserved because as affordability comes of concern, people are going to start pushing further and further out. But basically, the reason we do sub-niching is the more focused you are, the more effective your marketing will become. If there's not a whole lot of people out there saying the same things you are, you get a lot more eyeballs on what you have to say if there's something they're interested in. Another way to help explore your niche is through the buyer persona. This kind of goes into details of who is in your target niche area and who those people are, what makes them up, what turns them on, what kind of interests they have when they go online, where are they going on online. Fleshing these kind of things out definitely helps target where your market's going to go, where to spend your dollars, and how to find those clients. I thought this was a really good example. I was looking for kind of some stats. I came across this 7-step amazing master ROI formula. And what's step 1? Identify your niche market. Boom. Everything else flows after that. Google also, this is a really great thing to do in niche marketing because you become a generalist, a specialist, or not if you're trying to be a generalist and not specializing in anything, Google will actually punish you for this. The broader searches never will pick up your name, never will come up in SEO. The more you can niche down, the more you can put in other keywords that they know that those people are looking for, the higher your SEO will rank, and the more people will find you when they start Googling searching. Once people start looking for a home, they just start browsing, they look at houses, and sometimes people think those are the great leads. But really what you want is after them being on the browsing, doing their research online, because typically they don't contact a buyer or an agent until like a couple of weeks in. And at that point, when they figure out, okay, I want an Arcadia house, I want this mid-century modern, they start putting in those key phrases and boom, up comes your name. But basically becoming a niche, you want to become that go-to person. So if you want to be that, like Miss Jody Caputo, she's a military relocation specialist in Jacksonville, Oregon. And if you're the person that needs that kind of thing, she will probably come up first on searches. There's a reason why Miss Jane Clark over here kind of doing two specialties. But most of these people are like, put it right there in front and center. This is my specialty. This is what I do. They want to be that person. And commercial, this is really big for trying to grow your business. Like one guy I know, all he does is just gas stations. If you want a gas station in Phoenix, this is the guy you need to talk to, because he's the one, he's put his name out there. He's built his business and his brand around that. And now whenever you get kind of like, oh, I have a client looking to build a gas station, I'm like, well, I have no idea what the hell their needs are at a gas station. What do? I refer that one out to that guy. I don't have to do any work. I get a cut of whatever referral fee we agree on, and I make some money for just sending somebody that person's way. And then hopefully they return that favor. But final thoughts on this. Basically, you don't want to be like these people. I was looking for really interesting niches, and I came across these two, and they both just made me laugh. It's like, oh my gosh. If you want to see a good example of a person that hasn't specialized in a niche, I mean, check out her specialties. I'm a realtor, I'm a lawyer, I'm a superwoman. I'm more an agent than Al. I mean, it's all over the place, and then she has lasers shooting out of her eyes. I have no idea which target market she's appealing to with this ad. Maybe she thought it was interesting and might get it in there. I don't know. Game of Homes.
I think
Yeah.
I think she's for superheroes. Right?
Maybe just superheroes. I don't know how many superheroes she's going to get out of that. I understand Game of Thrones was hot a little bit way back, but wow. Yeah. I still have no idea what they're targeting there. So getting that niche will definitely help you with your marketing to keep it a little more focused, and hopefully you won't go off the rails like these folks. Any questions on any of that I went over? All right. Any problems, obstacles, things going on in your business that we could help you with? Nothing? All right. I'll stop